Today I am tempted to talk to you about phylum Mollusca. This is because of the fact that yesterday I happened to talk about Arthropoda, the largest phylum in the animal kingdom. Mollusca constitute the second largest phylum in the animal kingdom, and they are the masters of marine life. They are almost exclusively marine, although some of them are found in fresh water and still fewer of them found on land. Monarchs are unique in many ways. First of all, they are not segmented animals. They are bilaterally symmetrical, no doubt. They have a number of features that separate them from arthropods. See, they have feet, which is muscular. They are not endowed with legs. Secondly, they have shells, and the shell is actually a chitinous material overlaid by calcium carbonate. Chitin, is a carbohydrate, and you know what calcium carbonate is. Shell is hard, shiny, and beautiful, of all shapes and sizes that you can find when you walk along the seashore. About 80,000 of them live in the sea. Some of them are washed ashore. Well, there are 5, 6 different types of mollusks. One of them is chiton with 8 shells. They are are attached to the rocks. Then there is one we call elephant tusk shell. The shell is something like that of an elephant tusk. They remain in the shell and peep through the broad end of the shell. But there are 3 main or major classes of mollusca: gastropoda, bivalvia, and cephalopoda. Gastropods are unique in the sense that they have only one shell, but the shell is twisted, spirally coiled. You must have seen conch, skunk. They are something like that. Of course, you might have also seen land snails in paddy fields. They are twisted because nature made an experiment with them. Their posterior part of the body was brought to the anterior end, forming 8, and the whole thing was twisted. This you can find in prosobranchs, but some of them got the reversal process. That is, the torsion was reversed, and the process was called detorsion. As a result, the anterior part again came to the posterior part. That is, the anus, which was brought to the anterior end, was again brought to the posterior end. Or in that process, some of them lost their shell. In Aplysia, you don't find any shell. It's called sea hair. Gastropods are charming in that some of them, of course, are edible, but they are slow, sluggish animals in general. Slugs are supposed to be very sluggish animals. They crawl on the land with a muscular foot. Let me come to bivalves. Bivalves, as the name indicates, there are 2 shells attached to the hind joint. They have very large gills, and mouth is indistinct. They have blood vascular system, sort of you can say open or closed system in fact. But the blood contains hemocyanin, and the hemocoelomic system, although is there, but then they are coelomate animals. Where the gonad lies, that is, coelom is confined to a small space. Some of them constitute edible food, oyster, And pearl oyster, you must be familiar with, secretes pearl, which is calcium carbonate, secreted by mantle wall. If you put a sand grain or something like that, some kind of irritant, a layer of calcium carbonate will be deposited around it in course of time, and that is pearl. Now come to cephalopods. Cephalopods are highly interesting animals. They're agile, they move, they swim pretty well. They have 8 to 10 arms. Those that are provided with 10 arms are called decapoda, for example, sepia, and those that are provided with 8 arms are called octopus. These arms are provided with suckers, which helps them to grasp a prey or any substance so powerfully that you cannot remove them. Out of these 8 to 10 arms, 2 of them are pretty large and they perform amazing function. What they do is they take spermatophores from the males have it, and insert this into the female body to discharge these spermatophores. These are called hectocotylized arms. One of the cephalopods is pretty interesting. It's called nautilus. It's a beautiful animal with spiral shell. And first, there are chambers, and the animal lives in the last chamber, the spiral chambers. It's a beautiful animal, not found in abundance. The cephalopods have very highly developed brain and eyes. The brain is covered with a sort of called cranium brain box, not something like that we have, but they have some kind of cranium. Brain is highly developed. They are supposed to be the most intelligent animal in invertebrates. And you must have seen that they are sometimes used for making prophecy. So these animals are extremely important and very nice to look at. They are pleasure to watch. And one thing that they have ink gland. Cephalopods have ink gland. Whenever they approach some enemy or something, they eject the ink, and the whole atmosphere gets surrounding gets clouded, dark, and they escape. So they have ink gland, and there are a lot of other features that make them highly interesting animals in the world.